Welcome to WhiskeyPreacher.com. I'm your host, Phil Shepard, better known as the Whiskey Preacher, and I've entitled this wacky vidcast, The Apostate Cook. And the Apostate Cook I'm referring to is Debbie Cook, the former curator of 17 years of the Mecca Center for the Church of Scientology in Clearwater, Florida. Debbie has come forward accusing the Grand Poobah, High Priest, international leader, whatever you want to call him, David McTavish, who is the leader of the Church of Scientology. She says that in a meeting that her and David had some time ago, that they got in a disagreement. Instead of figuring out this disagreement like grown folks, David instructed his secretary to get up and slap Debbie. Deborah recalls that his secretary obediently got up, walked over to Debbie, and slapped her so hard she fell out of her chair. Wait, the story gets even crazier. Debbie also tells that she was in an executive board member meeting for the Church of Scientology, and David was in another argument with an executive board member. But instead of having his secretary do his dirty work, he got up and just punched the guy himself. Debbie also paints very vividly with her words and articulation in her interview that she did for Good Morning America yesterday morning and Dateline last night, that as a punishment for some of her actions, she was sentenced to the hole, as Debbie referred to it as, is in a secret location somewhere in California on the Church of Scientology's property. It's where they send folks for church discipline, that when they feel like they have done something that makes the church look bad or has whatever reason, they send somebody to the hole. And Debbie describes the hole as a place that looked and felt like a prison. She says that had bars on the doors and bars on the windows, and that she was there for her to repent of her sins, that she was repeatedly slapped and told to repent of her sins, and then they went so far in her torturing that they put her in the middle of a trash can, poured buckets of water over her, and once again told her to repent of her sins. And even though that sounds odd, I still can't even wrap my brain around the fact that the Church of Scientology actually performs church discipline in the first place. What did she do? Not pay her $1 million tithe fee? I just always thought that the Church of Scientology was a famous, good-looking country club for the rich and famous. I just can't believe, and I've heard other churches and other faiths and other denominations that I guess the Church of Scientology is technically considered a denomination, have odd ways of doing and performing church discipline, but the Church of Scientology? Really? Debbie Cook and her husband, under their own fruition, left the Church of Scientology in 2007. They actually signed disclosure statements saying that they would never publicly talk about the ins and outs of the Church of Scientology. And each one of them, not them as a family unit, but Debbie and her husband, each were paid $50,000 to keep quiet. I'm in the wrong business. What would it be like to start my own cult? This story broke when Debbie decided to not keep her silence anymore. She didn't go to the media. She didn't go and make a vidcast. She didn't blog about it. She didn't tweet about it. She didn't put anything on Facebook. She simply wrote a letter to a friend of hers that's still a part of the Church of Scientology, airing her grievances against David. Someone somehow intercepted this email, and the letter went viral. And the Church of Scientology, in turn, sued Debbie and her husband for their breach of silence. That they said that they signed a disclosure statement saying that they would never publicly talk about the Church of Scientology. In fact, Debbie and her husband can't even call themselves Scientologists anymore. They said that they could sue over that as well. The Church of Scientology now refers to Debbie and her husband as the apostates. Debbie decided that she was not going to take it anymore, and she countersued, and she testified in a Texas state court about her interactions with David McSavage. And she decided to do an exclusive interview and do a tell-all. And I don't know what's going to happen with all this. I don't know what the court decision is going to be, but I'm really interested in this story. I'm really interested in the idea that the Church of Scientology has and issues church discipline. I would love to hear your thoughts, your dialogues. I know that this is a wacky vidcast, but it was too much of an intriguing story for me not to do a vidcast on. You can follow the conversation on Twitter. It's the # Whiskey Preacher. You can go to my fan page on Facebook. It's Whiskey Preacher. Don't forget to like it. And don't forget to sign up for the whiskey updates. I'm so excited. I'm hoping to get my first issue of it out this weekend. I'm having a guest writer write a post that will not be released here on the Whiskey Preacher, but will be sent out on the whiskey updates. Thanks again for popping by whiskeypreacher.com. I hope to hear your comments, and I'm looking forward to this very interesting dialogue.